It is without an unequivocal doubt that strong women destroy games. Strong women, air quotes, destroy storytelling. Strong women, air quotes, destroy movies, television, books. Because no one likes a strong woman, and no strong woman actually exists in real life. Every strong woman is a wannabe man. Every strong woman is a facade of a real man. There is no realistic woman that can truly beat a man that is not starved and in some way disabled as to combat a female. We all know, no matter the story, that women do not have performative excellence or effectiveness above men. And when you look at a story, you will always have, and when you just look at a game in general with archetypes, you always find that strong women are a delusion, and they are a malicious fabrication to degrade and denote the ability and the effectiveness of men. They are built to spite men. They do not exist in real life. Strength is a male quality, a male virtue. It is difficult to achieve and possess strength. Men at a baseline have higher strength than women, but to achieve even greater strength than that baseline strength is difficult. To corrode the inherent value of what the term and the word strength even means is a crime upon its definition. Strength is difficult to attain and to maintain. And when we throw around these terms, these fake terms like strong woman, strong woman, strong woman, when you do this and you are destroying the meaning of a word that's inherent archetype is a man, is a male quality and characteristic. We don't sit there and say, beautiful man, beautiful man, beautiful man, because beauty is directly associated with the feminine. It is a womanly trait. When you tout and you spout lies about female strength, you are inherently deconstructing and spiting men and the legitimate achievements of men. In gaming, women who are forced to be perceived as strong are always replacements of men. They're always the worst qualities and characteristics of men. They're always insufferable. And another element to mention here is the fact that a strong woman is always a replacement of a man. So then why are there men? If a woman is so strong, then all she needs is herself. So why do you not have a story where, or you have a game where everyone's a woman? You have an entire city full of women. Because you don't need all these twink dudes if you're such a strong woman, and clearly there's something wrong with the population of men if the women are actually strong. Now we know this is a lie, and we know that this is an absolute offense onto common sense, but if you truly want to push as a leftist ideologue this concept of strong women, then what you are dually admitting is that then there's no need for the men. And that the men are irrelevant, and that the two sexes are also androgynous, and that they don't mean anything to each other. So then now you're also destroying within your story these sexual archetypes of a man and a woman, as well as their gender roles, which also equals gender realities of the two characters. You now have two archetypes that no longer need to complement each other through their sufficiencies as well as deficiencies. And clearly, when it comes down to utility and performance, men are the superior in utility and performance. They're the utilitive and the performative sex for women. And women are the reproductive sexual sex for men. That dynamic is as old as time. That is what everyone is enamored by. That's what everyone loves. No one wants a strong woman in gaming, because a strong woman in gaming is a contemptible lesser man. And again, they are an absolute offense to actual men. You are destroying the relationship between men and women. You are destroying the synergy between men and women. And because of this, you are building off of the premise of this malicious intent to create characterizations and archetypes of both men and women where they are devoid and do not need of each other. A woman offers her sexuality, a man offers his strength, And that is the implicit dynamic that exists between men and women. When you lie and you force down the throats of customers that a woman in any way, shape, or form must and actually can achieve the pursuits of strength, then you are inherently destroying the entire characteristic of what makes a man a man. And when we're specifically looking at these stories, you are killing all of the men in your story then. You are killing every single one of them. And you are creating a world where then it should be, if no men can perform in this world, then it should be absolutely dominated by women. That never happens in real life. It's not realistic in real life. So why do you push that propaganda into your games? And the only reason why is because of spite towards men. Strong women ruin games because strong women do not exist. And strong women, the idea of strong women means that you have to inherently weaken men, enfeeble men, disable men, and disable them of their masculinity if you're going to create strong women. Strong women are also combative. Strong women are also a deterrence to masculinity. Strong women are a deterrence to the traditional dynamics between the two sexes. Strong women are insufferable, and strong women only have hate for what and who they cannot be. In gaming, what we love are weak, effeminate women, because women must rely on men, because throughout history, women have always relied on men. That is the dynamic between men and women. That's what gives them their bond. Not strictly, but it is a part of what gives them their bond, and is a part of what builds a great story. It's a story where a woman needs a man, and a man fights to be of use to not only the plot, but also the woman. And it's not to say that that is his only value to the woman. And it's not to say that that is the only dynamic being had between the man and the woman. And this is not something to twist words on and to extrapolate it out of control. All throughout history is as simple as this. Women have relied on the performance of men. That does not mean that men have to be God. But we understand that all throughout history, a man is to have utility to his family, the women surrounding him, his children, and to himself in his own life. You are destroying the very characteristic that makes a man when you display strong women, and you are also spitting on the graves of men who had to work for their strength. When you insert a strong woman, because there are no strong women, when you force the idea of strong women, it means that they never earned it as well. There is no strength without masculinity. If there's any sense of strength without masculinity, then it is a pure delusion, or it's a pure entitlement. If we want to talk about other forms of air quotes on strength, of course, it's not actual strength. We have completely destroyed this word. It's been deconstructed. It doesn't mean what it used to ever mean throughout history anymore. Weak, effeminate women. And let's not even say weak, although you can say that, but that is not the ultimatum word to be using. You can just simply say neutral, passive women as a substitute. But it's as simple as this. Weak women inspire men's utility. If we're not going to be speaking about weak women, then we can talk about passive women. And passive women are inherently necessary to create a realistic world premised within men and women. Because in real life, women are weak unto themselves, and women are inherently passive. They are not the active, and they are not the emboldened sex. That is what men do. Women do not do these things, and that is not their role. Every man prefers for himself a woman that is worthy of living for. Not because he would die or have some kind of emotional episode without her, but it's because every woman is a vessel for a man's family. And it's because of the prolonged continuity of the human race. Women matter to men because of a man's desire to continue his genetic significance. When you make a female character that is in spite of men, you're creating a female character that is no longer also worthy of a man and for a man to continue his genetics therefore and thereof. Again, it is to be clear that a man does not live in the sole purpose of a woman, especially as a character. But a part of the male design in characters and a part of the male fulfillment in their legacy is the fact that they can provide a world extended from themselves for their family and ultimately for their progeny, for their children. The attack on men is an attack on family. The attack on men and this false assertion of strong women is an attack on genealogy, an attack on ancestry. It is an attack on reality and is an attack on what we have all come to know throughout history to be right and true. Strong female characters assert a world that lives outside of reality. And strong female characters create archetypes that destroys femininity and spits on masculinity. Every story is premised within an archetype that actually exists, that has actually been achieved, that actually has merit and value. When you are forcing strong women into a story, you are creating a character that has no value, has no reality, and has no utility. The only reason we engage with stories is to pass down generational value. When you create stories off of both delusion and propaganda, you are making, therefore, a story that is the antithesis of storytelling. And this is what we do with games. You are creating a world. You are creating a conceptual experience that is now a malicious delusion and an evil interpretation of the real world. You're creating a character that neglects generational value, that neglects generational storages and preservations of value. Our stories are only told, and people only buy games, only buy interactive mediums such as games or these other visual mediums such as movies and television shows. The only reason we spend money for these things is because of the generational and cultural value that's being stored and preserved across time. We buy these things as a vessel, as an access point, a gateway, an entry into the preserved value of our forefathers, brought to us by creatives who are not only wise enough, but talented enough to display to us value that is worthy of considering and observing. When you create a character that is devoid of value, such as a strong woman, you're creating a character that had no meaning or significance throughout history or time. And in fact, you are creating a character that disposes of meaning and time, as well as the meaning that we've seen throughout time, therefore linking the terms meaning and time. Strong women and strong, air quotes, female characters are the very antithesis of why anyone has ever sat around the campfire to listen to a story or why we've ever spent money in the first place on storytelling. We want beautiful women, effeminate women, women who exist in the world and depend upon men. We want stories, we want worlds where the women are made to be helpers of men, not in spite or replacements of men, lesser replacements of men. We want stories and we want worlds to be built that honors the synergy that has existed all throughout history and time between men and women. The cultural imperative and the cultural ideal is that every girl wants to be saved and every boy wants to be the savior. It is through this sexual androgyny that you will notice that they wish to replace the dynamic relationship between men and women, and how you will notice the destruction that they wish to place upon the intended design of boys and girls, men and women. Modern games and stories want to destroy our natural instincts and desires between the two sexes. Those very desires, which has prolonged and proliferated the generations. They want to destroy, through androgyny, the intergenerational relationship between men and women, boys and girls, to destroy you, your childhood, and your God-given purpose.